And we're back. Welcome to B-Side Banter. This is going to be kind of like a explanation episode, a bonus episode. In some respects, maybe a throwaway episode. I don't know, but it's going to be just me. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I would love for this podcast to be. I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that I've done in music review, and I'm going to apologize profusely for one of the worst takes that I have ever made. So, let's dive in. This is B-Side Banter, and this is a podcast where I just thought it would be really cool, really fun to have a couple music reviewers, music content creators, maybe eventually artists, producers, come on and just talk music. And I just really wanted to facilitate that. I know that I've done a lot of stuff in the past with music review, posting my own reviews and my own content, music lists, etc., etc. And I have had sort of a hard time kind of carving out a spot in this kind of content creation space. There's a lot of people that do a lot of great content. So anyway, I just kind of thought this would be a really fun thing to do. I thought that it would be cool to just connect with fellow reviewers or music content creators and just have a fun conversation and to let everybody in on that. And so that's what this is. There's not a whole lot of specific, I guess, formula to follow for each episode. We're going to talk a lot of the time specifically about what the co-host or the other music content creator specializes in. A lot of people specialize in hip hop or indie music, or they have like something that they've been doing, a series they've been doing. So we're going to talk about these things so it'll look different pretty much every week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, to me, I need to apologize because one of the most egregious mistakes I have made with my own stuff is my rating of Chappell Roan's album. And I love that album. I've listened to it constantly, probably one of my most listened to albums. And when I put my list out, I did a 5 best and a 5 worst songs. And nobody cares about the best songs. Like, let's be real. Everybody is commenting on the worst songs because when you say worst, it has this connotation that these songs are actually bad. And yeah, it's a little bit of a pull to try to get you in to comment and to say how wrong I am. But in all reality, there aren't any bad songs on this album. There's 14 tracks and they are all really good songs. It was really hard to come up with this particular list, but I still bumbled it. And one of the worst mistakes I made was I put Coffee as her worst song. And I have gone full 180 on that. And I now think that Coffee is her best song on that album. And so I was just in a mood. I don't know. When I was first listening to that, I really thought she was much stronger with her kind of just really energy focused pop songs. And her ballads just weren't as good. I still thought they were good, but not as good. So I obviously had as my best songs, the typical Hot to Go, Pink Pony Club, Feminine Nomenon, etc. And as her worst songs, I had a lot of the ballads. And that was a mistake, a very, very bad mistake. And now that I've listened to the album probably another 20 or so times, just constantly, I've realized that I've been so wrong with this. So I've got a new ranking, and it is just totally different. There's some things that are the same, but for the most part, it's pretty different. So I'm going to go through the best songs first. I have number 1. Actually, I'm going to start at number 5. Super Graphic, Ultramodern Girl at number 5. Really like that track. Pink Pony Club at 4. It's, maybe a little overplayed, but it is just so powerful of a song. And obviously it's brought kind of most of her fame. So it's an amazing track. Then I have Kaleidoscope at number 3. And that's a new one. Pretty sure I had Kaleidoscope on the 5 worst tracks. So really love that. I think the lyrics are great. I think the production is great. She's really, really good at these ballads. Her voice is really strong. Number 2 is Feminine Nomenon. That's still just one of my favorite songs. And I think I had that at number 1 before. Now, number 1 is Coffee. And it's great. It's a great ballad. It's really simple concept. It's just a peek into Chappell as a person. And I think that I totally slept on it. And like I said before, I was just in my positive era and not in my sad girl era. So I couldn't appreciate Coffee for what it was. All right, for what you guys really want. And this is my new worst songs of this album. And again, I say worst songs, but they're not bad, okay? Okay, they're not bad. Sometimes when I say worst songs on some albums, there are some bad songs on there, but not for this. Number 5, After Midnight. I just don't think it's as strong. I think it's still catchy, think it's still pretty good, but just not as good as the other tracks. Number 4, Picture You. Number 3, Guilty Pleasure. I get annoyed at that song. I'm just not. It's not really here for me. I still listen to it and still think it's a pretty solid track, but I don't love it. Number 2, Naked in Manhattan. Number 1, My Kink is Karma. This is probably the only song that I don't. Actually, probably 2 and 1. Naked in Manhattan and My Kink is Karma are probably 2 of the songs that I don't always listen to. Sometimes I skip them. I don't think this album has skips, but as you listen to an album more and more and more, sometimes you just skip through songs that you're just not as interested in. Those are 2 of them. That's my new ranking. The worst is My Kink is Karma. I feel like that's more of a consensus, but I'm sure people will still be upset at that. So again, I need to apologize. I've done all of the Chappell Roan fans out there so bad, but I take it all back. Well, not all, but I take the main thing back, and that is Coffee. I do think that is her strongest song. So again, here is just a really short episode. I'm probably going to post this as a full episode, even though it's only a few minutes long. Thanks for listening, and I am going to have another guest on very shortly.